Today's podcast is brought to you by Audible. Get a free audiobook download and 30-day free trial at audibletrial.com/spookshow. Then go over to morbidlybeautiful.com as we are now part of the Morbidly Beautiful Podcasting Network.
Now, here is a motion picture film.
And now, ladies and gents, it's showtime!
To do the binds.
Say hello to my little friend!
Go ahead. Make my day.
Come quietly or there will be trouble.
I'll shove that bat up your ass and turn you into a popsicle.
Inconceivable!
Welcome to the All-American Spookshow podcast.
I'm sorry, boys. I'm afraid I can't do that. I'm afraid I can't do that.
Hello, welcome back to the All-American Spookshow podcast. I'm Josh, and I'm joined here with Donnie.
Yo.
Tiana.
Hey.
And the Professor Smoke.
What's up?
And we're going beyond the Thunderdome today. This is where, like, because now you kind of hear the term Thunderdome thrown out there every now and then when you're talking about, like, maybe in wrestling or something. Like, it comes up.
Events of some sort or whatever.
Yeah, it comes up now, but, like, I would assume this is where the idea of, or the term came from, right? Like, I don't know if it was a thing before
I don't remember
that.
ever hearing it before this.
Yeah. So
I mean, in terms of fighting or in a cage match or something or whatever.
But we're talking about Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome. So we're just skipping the first two movies. We're going straight to the third one here. We just finished Hellraiser last week. So now we're cracking open another franchise that we can, now that I think of it, that we can slowly.
But this one, at least this franchise, even the worst of this franchise is better than any of the Hellraiser movies that came after, at least after part 3, maybe even after part 2.
You know, I have not seen the latest one, that Furiosa movie.
No, we didn't either.
I haven't seen it.
Did we?
I heard that it was good. I just, for whatever reason, I never got a chance to go to the theater and I never saw it. But
maybe we did.
Which one?
Furiosa.
Furiosa.
Oh, okay. We did see that one.
We saw it like a little bit later, but yeah.
It just came out back in 2024. So, I mean, it's still relatively May of 2024 when that one came out, but that's the fifth. This is the third. So, in the franchise, we have Mad Max from 1979, the original, that kind of kickstarted Mel Gibson, right, as a superstar.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Mad Max 2, a.k.a. The Road Warrior. That one came out in 1981. And then this one, Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome, came out in 1985. Then, literally 30 years later, took George Miller 30 years to do another one, Mad Max Fury Road in 2015. And then Furiosa, a Mad Max Saga, came out in May of 2024. So that's what there's been 5 movies so far. Hopefully there'll be more. I mean, like you said, any of the ones that I've seen, I haven't seen Furiosa. I've enjoyed them. So,
I think you'll like. I think neither of y'all have seen Furiosa.
I didn't get to it.
Yeah, I think you'll like. I think both of y'all like.
Oh, and dude, I think Fury Road is one of the best.
Yeah.
Action movies. Period.
Yeah.
It's got to be right.
Yeah.
It's got to be one of the highlights.
Definitely the best action movie I can think of since. I mean, in the modern era we're in, or whatever. That I can think of off the top of my head.
Yeah. I mean, just everything about that. I think a lot of the seeds for that one are sown in this one, though. I know they always had that car chase element kind of thing, but I think this one is the one that really took it where Fury Road
the
went.
aesthetic looks like the same, basically just updated for, with the budget and everything.
And George Miller got weirder and weirder with the shit as the films went by, too. Which isn't a bad thing, but, it is so odd and weird. Just this post-apocalyptic world that he has built here.
Mm-hmm. And you can see other things spinning, not spin-offs, but a little bit of inspiration spinning off from this, saying, even something like Hook. You remember the movie Hook? Like Rufio? Yeah. And those Lost Boy characters and that kind of remind me a lot of these sort of Lost Boys characters in that scene. Yeah.
Well, there was something to that. Somewhere I saw in something in my research for this where, that whole group of kids where they're on the planet Earth, ERF, and they're it's supposed to be like Peter Pan, the Lost Boys. It's supposed to be like that.
It's supposed to be like that, but I guess just kind of took that post-apocalyptic kind of look, because I mean, at least Rufio and some of those other kids in there, they had that post-apocalyptic sort of look to their outfits or whatever.
So this is Cult Corner. So later on, when we do our star ratings, you're basing this a little bit differently than what we normally do. Like we're comparing this against more like the other movies that we've done in Cult Corner. So you are kind of comparing this to Scarface and that type of thing. It's also always a chance for us to kind of take a little bit of a break from horror because that's mostly what we do. So that's kind of why we're doing Mad Max Thunderdome. We all nominated something, spun a wheel, and this is what it landed. This is actually the one that I nominated this time around. Before we get into it, though, into the background and all that jazz, we want to remind you to go check out our YouTube page, aaspookshow.com. Over there, every month we have Grindhouse Gutter, we got Video Vortex, we got Hammer Horror and Order, so lots of cool little video series that we have over there that we encourage you to check out. We upload videos of the podcast as well, but we encourage you to go check those out every month. We also want you to go check out our TeePublic page and get any merch, like logo merch and all that stuff. The other shirt designs and stuff that we have over there. You can buy any of those, hats and all that jazz. Well, actually not hats. I think just about everything but hats, right? Other random stuff that has the logo on it. You can get that there. Also become a patron of the Spook Show by going to patreon.com/AASpookshow. Every month we have exclusive content. The main thing really is that if you become a patron, you get the episodes early, plus other cool stuff. We got lots of cool stuff archived over there as well. That's some more stuff that we'll probably be changing in the New Year's, maybe throwing some different kind of stuff over on Patreon. Just another way to get a little extra Spook Show in your life. So go to patreon.com/AASpookshow for that. All right, as far as the background in this movie is concerned, the only other title that I saw for this movie is just Mad Max 3. It was released June 29th, 1985 in Japan, and then July 10th of 1985 here in the U.S. So for some reason, Japan got it about, 2 weeks earlier than we did here in the U.S. It was produced by Kennedy Miller Productions, distributed by Warner Brothers. It's rated PG-13, and I believe I saw somewhere where it's the only movie. Yeah, it's the only movie in the franchise to be PG-13, because I think all the rest are rated R.
Yeah.
And they kind of, you can kind of tell a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, there's still.
Obviously, there's still some elements, but
it's definitely not as violence is not as violent.
It's kind of watered down a little bit.
Yeah, it's there, but it's not as like you said, watered down. That's a good way to put it. Total runtime is 1 hour and 47 minutes. On IMDb, it's listed as an action, adventure, sci-fi. It was filmed in New South Wales and various other places in South Australia. Which, if you just look at this movie, you can tell it's some harsh landscape that they were dealing with here. I think they said in some places it was freezing temperatures in certain areas that they were at in New South Wales. And then some of the main, like the car chase scenes and all that, were in like temperatures of 100 up to 140 degrees. And during some of that stuff. So it's some extreme conditions that they're dealing with here. It was done for a budget. By the way, it was filmed around September of 1984 for a budget of $10 million. And it went on to just a worldwide gross of $36.2 million, which I'm sure they were happy with that. And that's not a bad haul, but you would think it would have done better than that. But I didn't really look up to see what the two movies before that had done box office wise. For all I know, it was the biggest one until Fury Road for sure. But
unless maybe Road Warrior, maybe Road Warrior. I don't know for sure on that, but
yeah, maybe. And like I said, I didn't look, but I do have the top 10 in the box office the weekend that it came out here in the U.S. So this is the U.S. box office for July 12th through the July 12th through the 14th of 1985. So Smoke, I know you're going to love this. I'm just going to give you the top 13 because that's all I have here, and there's some pretty good ones. Number 13, Red Sonja.
Yeah, when your number 13 is Red Sonja, he's only going up from there. I guess.
Exactly.
Nice.
Down a notch there at number 12 was Prizzy's Honor, but at number 11, Fletch, Chevy Chase classic. Number 10, a little indie flick called The Goonies. Was in the 6th week. Number 9, The Emerald Forest. I don't think I've ever seen that.
Yeah, I remember it. I remember seeing it, but back then I haven't seen it since back in the 80s or so.
Number 8, St. Elmo's Fire.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the Emerald Jungle, the cannibal movie from
No. I don't think that
Umberto
would be in
Lenzi.
the,
I've seen that one more
I
recently.
don't think that would be in the top 10 of the 1985
Oh,
box
okay,
office.
that's not okay.
Number 8, St. Elmo's Fire. Number 7 in its opening weekend, Silverado. Number 6 in its opening weekend, Explorers. Number 5, Pale Rider. That's a Clint Eastwood
yeah.
classic. Number 4, Donnie, here you go. Rambo: First Blood Part 2 was in its 8th week. It already made north of 125 million at this point. Number 3, Cocoon was in its 4th week. Number 2, in its opening weekend, Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome made $7.2 million that here in the U.S. box office that weekend. And then number 1, for the second week in a row, Back to the Future.
Yeah, I was about to say that. I knew that was 85. I just didn't know if it was that time period in 85, but it was.
Yeah, I mean, you're dead in the summer here of 85, so this is prime movie going. Every kid's out of school, summer of 85. So yeah, this would have been a big one. But Back to the Future, God, I mean, it had a hell of a run.
Oh yeah,
that year. I can't even count up the weeks. I just clicked on it here to see it was in the top 10 for quite some time. I mean, it went on to gross $222 million, over $222 million. Back to the Future did. So yeah, it stayed on top for quite some time. But
way to go, future boy!
Yeah. So between that and Rambo 2 and Cocoon,
yeah,
Goonies,
that's a hell. I mean, that just makes you really appreciate that time period when that many. I mean, like I said, the bottom rung, number 13 was Red Sonja.
Yeah,
and I love that movie. So I mean, now the only one out of all those that I probably don't even really remember, not even sure if I saw, is Prizzy's Honor or whatever.
I've heard of it. I've heard of it. Yeah. I'm the same. Like, I know of it, but I don't believe I ever watched it. Yeah. But this movie was directed and written and produced, of course, by George Miller. This is his franchise. He's done all 5 movies. He's done a lot of other stuff, but the main things that probably people listening to this would know him from would be he directed Witches of Eastwick.
Yeah.
And he also did one of the segments in Twilight Zone, the movie. He directed the segment called Nightmare at 20,000 Feet.
Yeah, which is an awesome classic, or updating of the classic episode.
Yeah. I think the original episode of William Shatner, right? Or am I confusing?
Yeah. It did. And did the new one have, who was the main guy in that episode?
God, no, blank. I can see it, but I'm just completely blank.
Harry and the Hendersons, that guy.
John Lithgow.
Right? Yeah. Yeah, classic. But yeah, like he did tons of other stuff, but really it's the Mad Max franchise and probably Witches of Eastwick that most people would know him from listening to this. It was also co-directed by George Ogilvy. Now, I saw some little background on that. Was apparently they had worked together on some miniseries. I believe it was like an Australian miniseries or something, and they kind of directed some stuff together on that, and they worked well together. So he's like, hey, I'm doing this. You mind coming to helping? So he just kind of carried on over and helped him co-direct this. George Ogilvy didn't have as many. I mean, he had some credits, but nothing crazy. Like not too many to point out that you would be, oh yeah, that guy did this, So not much, but unfortunately he died back in 2020 at the age of 89. So he was a lot older even than George Miller at the time. It was written by George Miller and Terry Hayes. Now, Terry Hayes also wrote the Road Warrior, Mad Max 2, but he also wrote Dead Calm, which that was that movie I think it had Nicole Kidman.
Yeah, and is that in the boat?
Yeah, they're on the boat. Yeah.
Kind of a thriller or whatever. That's pretty good from what I remember.
And he also did the movie From Hell. He had a hand in that. So that was Terry Hayes. It stars, of course, Mel Gibson reprising the role as Mad Max. From the first 2 movies. Now this is also the last time that he played the part of Mad Max because, like I said, it was 30 years before they made another one, and by then he was much older, and they got, Tom Hardy to be Mad Max in that one. And then I haven't seen Furiosa, but I don't know how much Mad Max really has to do with that one, right? I think he's kind of...
No, I mean...
Because I know it's more of a prequel.
Other than maybe mentioning the name, I mean, there's a nod. I mean, there's a nod to him in one scene. I won't just say what it is, but since I haven't seen it, but let's just say there's a nod to him, but it's not really, he's not in it per se.
Which I guess, if they wanted to bring back Mel Gibson and do some like far into the future, like he's a lot older kind of thing, that might be interesting.
Yeah,
I don't know how,
it could.
willing the parts are to do that, but it would be kind of interesting. Especially even with the way this movie ends. Well, how much is Fury Road connected? I know it's 30 years later, not in their world, but in real life. Is it, because, and we'll get into the movie itself here in a second, but the way this movie ends is basically Max is kind of just wandering the desert again, right?
Wandering off into the desert.
So
after that,
is Fury Road timeline wise, is it sometime after this? Are they connected at all? I'm not really, I mean, I know they are connected, but how connected?
Yeah, how
I don't know.
The timeline, I don't know. I haven't looked, that's something I haven't looked up before. I mean,
because if you think about it, that Fury Road that I remember, it's been a while since I even watched that one, but I remember it kind of starts with him. He's just wandering again.
Yeah,
he's just,
I mean, he's basically, which is what he does in some of the other ones. But as far as like how much, I'm not right now off the top of my head, and maybe I've read it somewhere, but I don't even remember how much time has passed.
Yeah.
Between the end of this one and Fury.
Yeah, where do they all place? Like, because even in this one, Mel Gibson's kind of got some gray. You notice Mad Max kind of got some gray in his hair. So is this supposed to be maybe after Fury Road? I don't know. I don't. Maybe somebody out there listening can point out the timeline of things if there's any kind of chronology to it. But
you can't really judge it by the age. I mean, like, because if this is supposed to be after, if Fury Road's supposed to be after this one, he looks older in Fury Road than he does. I mean, he looks older in this movie. Yeah, Mad Max. If you're talking about him as a character than he did in Fury Road. So I don't know if it's supposed to be going back to a certain point in time, and I don't know. But that's something definitely,
or is it we'll
definitely dive into when we get to.
Or is it kind of one of those Indiana Jones type things where most people probably don't realize it, but those Indiana Jones movies jump around. Like, I don't think you think about it. You think about like, well, there's Raiders of the Lost Ark and there's Temple of Doom. You think about it in that order, but really, like the timeline of Indiana Jones in those movies, it jumps around. Some are before, like some are. I think Temple of Doom takes place before Raiders or something. There's some weird chronology stuff that plays there.
Yeah,
because it's supposed to be more like a serial, like an old timey pulp comic type of serial thing, where like. The character, let's just jump into an adventure. Let's jump into a story. So maybe that's what George Miller has done with Mad Max, where it's timeless and, they don't match up chronologically. They just match up. Here's a story.
Here's a character in this land.
Yeah. Here's just another crazy story of Mad Max doing whatever the hell he did at some time period. Here you go. Maybe it's as easy.
Decades. It says decades after Mad Max Beyond. It says 2050s.
You mean Fury Road?
Yeah.
Fury Road.
Yeah.
What was does it say the time period of? Say this.
Well, if you said decades, I mean, I assume that means this is supposed to be 2020,
early 2000s.
Yeah, I was about to say this would be if it's
it's 50 years after.
So
it's Fury Road.
Fury Road's 50 years. 50 years?
Yeah.
Huh. Now you got me wondering, is it even the same Max?
Yeah.
No.
You know what I mean?
Like you said, though, it might just be he's this mythic character now. This is just Max, and here he is at this timeline, this period or whatever.
Yeah.
You don't even really think about the age, or I don't know.
Not that it has to matter. It's just curious to me, like how they.
Another thing that's that I have to do that. Thinking about this now, the time periods, I never even thought about what year any of these were supposed to necessarily be in. But now that you kind of have a year that he has come up with, like how many movies that are post-apocalyptic have been set? We've already passed a lot of them, like 1990, The Bronx Warriors. We've done that on the show, right? That came out in 1983, but they were thinking in 1990, maybe this is what the future is going to look like.
Oh, yeah.
1990, The Bronx Warriors.
Yeah, there's tons of that where they're like, in the far-flung future of the year 2000, and
there's 2019, After the Fall of New York. There's 2020, Texas Gladiators.
Or
we can do a timeline of the post-apocalyptic future. I'm do a spotlight on that.
Oh, dude, that would be awesome. I would love that because like that fascinates the hell out of me. Like, and then I instantly think of Demolition Man.
Yeah.
How it's like 1997, but the world has gone to shit, and we sing nothing but commercial jingles, and there was a restaurant war. Like, what is this world?
Yeah, we need to do whatever you would call that spotlight, the timeline of the post-apocalyptic future or whatever, and come up with all these movies This is 1997. This is 1990. Here was 1990. The Bronx Warriors
Even
back then.
Terminator's like in the Terminator movies. That's in the 90s, right? Like when the robots rise,
when the
robots rise and kill us all. Basically, it's sometime in the 90s, I think, early 2000s,
or when Skynet becomes sentient or whatever.
Yeah.
It's coming.
Yeah.
Now, according to them, all this shit has already happened. Like we're in the year 2026. That should have happened 20 years ago, according to
Elon
80s
all those
logic.
guys they're all trying to make it come about with these robots. We need to get this going.
Well, yeah, we need to speed this clock up. Shouldn't we have already been murdered by the robots?
Taken over by AI by now.
Yeah. Well, anyways, Mel Gibson. You would know him from this series, obviously, but probably arguably bigger was the 4 Lethal Weapon movies, right? Like, if you don't know Mel Gibson from anything else, it would probably be the Lethal Weapon movies. That'd be the first place I would go. I'm
Probably
sure.
Is. I mean, from your first wide introduction to him, right outside of cult films.
Maybe, yeah. Like, what would you say is his biggest single movie? Maybe Braveheart. Maybe. Yeah, I mean, if you had to distill it down to one movie,
like
one Mel Gibson flick, right? Now I know
not necessarily your favorite, but you're talking about
just
he's most well known for you.
The one. I mean, because he won Oscars for that, and
yeah, it probably would be that one.
Not only did he star in it, but I believe he directed it. Right? Am I misremembering that?
Yeah.
Braveheart. And now, The Passion of the Christ was a big one, but he wasn't in it. He directed it.
Yeah,
but
he directed it.
Speaking of movies you only want to watch one time in your life, The Passion of the Christ.
We haven't done the first Mad Max, but in that one that was his first American. Well, it wasn't American, but I mean introduction to America, and they dubbed his voice. I'm pretty sure, because it was so thick of an Australian accent for the English, not for the English, but for the American markets. I'm pretty sure they dubbed his voice in the first one. I mean, maybe they went back and have since just had the original one. Maybe they. I don't know.
It's funny too because Mel Gibson. A lot of people don't realize he's American. Like, or he was born in the U.S. He was born in New York, and then like a little bit later in his life, they moved to Australia. And that's where he kind of sowed his oats or whatever. But like technically, he was born here in America. So you just think of him as like an Australian star, which he is. But
yeah,
he was born in America. But anyways, Mel Gibson and Tina Turner. Of all people, it's kind of random, right? If you think about it, like Tina Turner was huge. Absolutely a music icon. No question. I struggle to think of how many other movies that she was in. I mean, I know she was in some stuff.
Yeah,
but
like her own stuff.
Yeah.
That were about her.
And I know she was in Tommy, right? The Who.
The musical.
Yeah. I know she was in that.
The rock opera. Not musical, rock opera. That's what.
Oh, and of course, who could forget, Donnie, that she was in Last Action Hero?
She was.
Yeah.
Yep.
We can't forget that. But like Tina Turner, like I think of her as like the music icon that she was, not for anything that she was in, but not only was she in this, she was a huge part of it, and she was really good in it too.
Yeah.
I mean, for what they asked her to do, I mean, for a non-actor, really damn good.
Yep. And they gave her some cool scenes with the vehicle stuff too at the end.
Yeah. Which I'm going to assume, like, I would imagine there was stunt doubles and all kinds of stuff going on there, but like, it kind of looked like her and Mel Gibson were kind of a part of that, right? Like,
yeah. In some capacity. Now, how much stunt things they did on these vehicles? I mean, some for sure that they were on the vehicle for some of those shots. Yeah.
Yeah. So they pulled that off, but yeah, I mean, she's great in it as Anti-Entity. Which is another name, weird but cool name in the long list of them in the Mad Max series. Like Immortan Joe and all that. Like, there's just some like interesting, like weird names in this series.
Yeah, like I wonder where he comes up with his naming conventions, but they're interesting.
I don't know, dude, but like George Miller has got to be like a sneaky, odd genius. Like in a way, like almost in a way, like George Lucas was with Star Wars. It's like, where do they come up with this shit? Like the oddity of it, the weirdness of it.
And also just both of them, just the sheer influence they've had to everybody that's come after them. Because
Yeah.
I mean, the Mad Max franchise pretty much just kicked off the entirety of that. It's responsible for all those Italian ripoffs and all the, you know, post-apocalyptic movies that pretty much came after it. I mean, there was some that came before it, but it had a certain style that every other post-apocalyptic movie after it pretty much copied off of the Road Warrior style. At least.
And there are tons and tons of examples of awesome car chases and all that stuff, but not many have done it as well as George Miller does it in his movies.
Yeah. And it's because he builds these things, like these crazy cars in this thing that, you know, that are cobbled together from parts, but you could hear just the muscle in them, you know, like a muscle car. It's like this.
Yeah, that design of these
new ones too.
The design of these things, it's like something that would be made in a post-apocalyptic world. Like he's got
that parts of whatever's laying around.
You just cobble together Frankenstein vehicles together and make these crazy things that serve a purpose that get you from point A to point B, but are tough as nails. You know, like
yeah.
He's got that down to an art, man.
And then by the time you get to like Fury Road with the heavy metal thing, with the amplifiers and the guitar guy and all that.
Weird. Once again, one of the weirdest things you'll see, but awesome as shit. Like, there's just a dude dangling off the front of this massive vehicle with a guitar, just like playing metal riffs, just
for sheer intimidation, I guess.
Smoke and flames going off. It's like the cover of an 80s metal album or something, like come to life. It's nuts. But you can see the seeds of that. That's what I was talking about earlier. You can see the seeds of that in this.
Yeah.
You know, 30 years later, like, dial it up. You know, like, take that, but like now just fucking make it crazier than it was in Thunderdome.
Yeah. Or the weird little quirky things like that. I don't remember his name, but he was in the in Bartertown. It was kind of like Tina Turner's henchman guy, but he had that fucking stick thing hanging off his back with the head thing, with the little shrunken head looking
like
thing.
A little mask or whatever the hell, like kabuki mask looking thing. I don't know what the hell that was.
There's random things like that. Just like,
but it even came,
that's just very George Miller, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
you could say, I mean,
that thing even came back towards the end when, like, I guess that guy had finally wrecked or something like that, and the mask is laying on the ground, and the guy, like, his hand, like, dramatically, like, you know.
And then he goes,
he flips it off.
Yeah,
flips it off.
Yeah.
Or like the whole Master Blaster thing. I mean, that's awesome.
Once again, weird.
But again, George Miller, that's straight up George Miller creation there. I mean, I've never, you know, anything else. If you were to come up with something that after that now, it'd just be copying off of that. But I mean, I can't think of anything before that would be inspired by it. It's just a complete oddity, but an awesome character.
You know, the only thing that even comes to mind close to it, and I know, you know, unrelated, but like in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the main bad guy, Krang. Yeah, Krang.
Krang.
Where it's an alien brain, but it's inside the stomach of like this
stomach guy.
Yeah. So it's similar, but way different. But
yeah.
That's it. That's the only thing that even comes to mind, because in this one, it's Master Blaster is a midget that's sitting on top of that sits on top of a guy named Blaster, who's just this hulk of a man. So they call him together. He is Master Blaster. And he kind of just points Blaster in the way, you know, in the way he wants it to go. And then, so it's unique and weird. And then
that's probably one of the key scenes. Oh, go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
I was going to say, that's one of the key scenes in the movie and where it gets the name Thunderdome from. I mean, that battle in the Thunderdome, it is crazy because it's like, is it the halfway point, would you say? Or even before the halfway point? The battle in the Thunderdome.
It's roughly halfway, maybe a little before.
Maybe about halfway through there. So it's like, that's kind of like it's a climax that's not the climax of the movie. It's sort of like getting that scene. I mean, it's leading up to this. And then you're about at the halfway point, but there's so much stuff, so much more to go after that.
I guess that's why it's called Beyond.
Yeah, Beyond Thunderdome.
It's like, what is it, War Games and the old NWA, WCW wrestling match where it's like all these guys enter and they're beating the shit out of each other for an hour, but the match actually doesn't begin until all of them are in the cage. Yeah. So then it's called the match Beyond. So I'm sure they had to have ripped that off of Thunderdome.
From Thunderdome?
Because it's all these dudes in a cage, War Games, and then now we can start. It's almost like the two men enter, one man leave. You know, that's what they kept chanting.
What is it? Hey, why it's Buttercup.
Popcorn, add some butter to hot popcorn. Mix it up, wrap it up, Buttercup is born.
It's delicious.
So nutritious.
It's a taste delight.
It's so munchy, crisp and crunchy. You'll enjoy each bite. Eat butter-drenched Buttercup popcorn at its best.
Served in a king-size cup.
It beats all the rest.
And that was a cool thing in there, that whole cage match thing. Except the only thing is, like, that's where you can see the PG-13 at too, right? Because there were some scenes in there, like when Blaster was launching himself to the side towards Max with that Japanese bladed weapon, and he ends up stabbing one of the people outside the thing.
Oh yeah,
you kind of hear him go like that, and then
and then I was instantly
blood on the blade, but that's
as soon as that happened, I'm instantly like, well, there's one of your fatal flaws of Thunderdome right there. Like, what's to stop somebody from just killing everybody watching? Because the way they're all hanging off the cage, like, I would imagine more people watching would die than the dudes in Thunderdome.
Then what's going on inside?
They said they had a lot of
rubber band things.
That and some of the behind the scenes stuff I saw where they had some issue with the whole thing where they're on the ropes and they're kind of bouncing. Mm-hmm. They said they couldn't quite, I guess, perfect the bungee effect that they wanted. They wanted in their mind, they're thinking, oh, this will be cool. These two dudes fighting on bungees and they're going. Well, apparently, like, that just didn't work very well. So they had to rig up some kind of thing that kind of shot them into the air. Like, it was like compressed air that just would just kind of shoot these dudes up because they weren't getting enough air.
This is before all that stuff of, like, extreme games of like, that type of thing, right? Where with the bungee thing, where now where you go pay at an amusement park for them to do that and launch you up in the air or whatever and stuff. That's kind of before all that, really.
If you kind of think about it, like looking back at, just how stunts were kind of done right around that time period, whenever you did need like a guy to get launched or whatever, he would get on like a compressed air cannon, almost like if for lack of a better term, remember those little foot pedal that you would use to pump up a bike or whatever.
Yeah, those
very similar to that. Yeah.
So they would almost kind of launch you with it, just and then
They used them a lot during I guess like Fall Guy and the 8 team and.
Well, the funny thing is that you mentioned that one of the ones that it directly compared the method to was what they did in Mary Poppins.
Oh yeah.
Like that's how they kind of achieved her, flying in the air, like jumping up and all that kind of stuff was that compressed air kind of thing. Like kind of they shot them up. So there were, believe it or not, similar methods to this from Mary Poppins.
Mary Poppins Beyond Thunderdome.
Yeah. I'd watch it. It's still better than what
that umbrella stabs the shit out of people with the umbrella thing.
Yeah. The idea of that is still better than what we watched recently on Video Vortex. Tomcat Angels.
Oh, jeez. Yeah, can we flush that?
Yeah, that's no, because it's not Crapsterpiece. That was Video Vortex. By the way, I'm not going to go off on a tangent on that. I was going to say, what would we give it on the Crapsterpiece rating scale?
I think we all know the
that's diarrhea. That's diarrhea.
Yeah.
Master Blaster, Thunderdome, and then Blaster is defeated. But like, so Max and Blaster, they have their big showdown in Thunderdome, and he takes Blaster down, and he's got like a hammer, and he's about to like just fucking crush his head, and then he looks down and realizes that the dude is handicapped, right? Like, so like.
Yeah.
He stopped short of, oh shit, this isn't part of the deal. Like this is messed up, like he's basically just muscle because he doesn't know any better, and this dude just points him to what he wants. Yeah. The motivations were weird for Anti-Entity to point him to do this, in the sense of like, maybe not her motivations. Okay, the motivations are Master Blaster rules the underworld where they create
the methane gas and everything
from pig shit
to power the city.
Pig shit.
Don't they know about the climate change? No.
Yeah. I don't think they care.
Post-apocalyptic nuclear world is dying.
I think they threw that out the window with the paper straws, man. They don't give a shit. Anyways, like in this world, pig shit, methane, energy, right? Master Blaster rules that world because he's willing to go down in the pig shit. So Anti-Entity wants Master Blaster dead So then she's not depending on
Not
this guy.
pig shit energy. No, I'm sorry.
Embargo. Anyway, so that's the motivation, right? She wants him dead so she can control it. Well, Max takes Blaster down and like, this wasn't part of the fucking deal. I'm not killing him, right? Then they just kill him.
Yeah. They just like go cross.
So like, why didn't you just do that to begin with? Why? Yeah, the crossbow. Yeah.
Okay, I'm having a problem with my words.
Why didn't they just do that to begin with? Like, if you're just gonna like, fuck, he's down, he's supposed to be dead. Whap whap. Why didn't you just do that to begin with and just like not have all this stuff that just happened?
You just could have an assassin take him out down there in Pig Shit City down underground.
I don't know, weird, but whatever. We got a cool Thunderdome scene out of it, so whatever. But, so yeah, now Blaster's dead, so Master's on his own, and then they send him down into the pig shit, right? So because they rule the roost now, and then they send Max away. By the way, here's another wrestling WCW, the NWA. They must have copied shit from this movie. Somebody just watched Thunderdome and just copied half the shit, because remember they used to have a match where it was spin the wheel, make the deal. They would spin it and it would land on something, and oh shit, it's a coal miner's glove match or something, right? It's a Yapapai Indian strap match, because they spin the wheel. In this, they spin a wheel and it lands on gulag. Now, I don't know what the hell. Doesn't gulag mean like Russian prison or some shit like that?
Yeah, so Russian prison.
Oh, well, okay.
I thought it was something.
Well, I mean, traditionally, that's what it was.
That's what I mean. Like in our world, in real life here, doesn't gulag mean like prison or something, right?
Yeah, it's a Russian. It's a Russian. What do you call it? Internment camp, prison, whatever.
Yeah. Well, in this world, it means like we're gonna strap you to a horse and ride you backwards with a mascot head on your head backwards into the desert. That's what gulag is.
I thought it was like a Polish soup.
I think you're thinking that's goulash. That's goulash, yeah.
What the hell? That's right.
That's a tasty treat, not this riding backwards on a horse in the desert.
A horse with no name?
Yeah, no. I don't know if it did have a name or not. But in reality, it seems like it's more of a punishment for the horse.
Yeah.
Because they're just like, they just slap a horse on its ass and make him go right into the desert. Well, what do you think's going to happen to the horse? It's just going to go as far as it can and then die, which is what happened. And then he's basically okay and just cuts himself loose and just kind of lays there until the monkey shows up with a vial of water.
That was the other thing too. Was that monkey supposed to be just another random monkey, or was it supposed to be the one that was on his wagon at the beginning of the movie?
I assume it was. It wasn't like a randomly smart monkey. I think it was his pet monkey.
Yeah. Or was it even his, or did he steal that from somebody, or come across that wagon? You know what I mean?
Yeah, maybe
got stolen from him.
Yeah, maybe there's some prequel comic book or some shit or book or something out there that explains all this. But yeah, like the only hint you get to that is that when he gets his transportation, that car that strapped the camels, when he gets it stolen, you see when it's driving away that there's a monkey in the back of it. Then fast forward to the monkey coming out there with the flask of water to save him. But then he is taken into this, they call it the Planet Earth, ERF, Planet Earth Oasis. It's like with the crack in the world or whatever they call it. It's basically like an oasis, like down in the desert. Yeah. There's water and everything, and they can survive there, But it's like the Lost Boys. It's like a bunch of kids. Because apparently they are the kids of survivors of a plane crash.
Yeah, that's what we're trying to figure out what the backstory on them was. That's the only thing I can probably gather, because you get the plane, they show the plane, like the captain, what's his name? Captain, they think that Captain Walker.
Captain Walker, yeah.
Who they think Mel Gibson, who Mad Max is at first, that he's Captain Walker. They think it's him, and that he's.
I think what the conclusion was that there was a plane crash, and then but a lot of them survived, and the adults that survived it, just kind of
died off,
lived there. And then they had kids, and then eventually the adults, we need to travel out and go get help. They all left and basically left the kids on their own. And now these kids are just sitting there telling these legends of one of these days they're going to come back and save us, They're waiting. Basically, they're waiting. He shows up, and then...
Another hero, or a hero.
Yeah, we don't need another hero. Yeah, according to Tina Turner. So yeah, that there's that whole section of the movie. So it's almost like it really feels like two different movies in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
You know, because you got the first part of everything that happens in Bartertown and all that shit in Thunderdome. Once he's out of there, then he finds these kids and he tries to convince them to stay there, but obviously I guess they're ready to get the hell out of there. Some of them are, some of them aren't. Then one thing leads to another and they kind of leave and go back to Bartertown. And then there's the culmination of all those stories. Like, combine those two things together. And now there's like one kind of final battle in Bartertown, and then they get the hell out of there, or they break Master out and take him out of there on like this big train. Looks like a truck train that's on tracks.
Yeah. It's like pieced together with it. The front of a train and some other parts of a train, but then the back end's like a truck.
Yeah, and there might even be an element of a house on there or something because there's rooms. It's a weird amalgamation kind of thing that's just on tracks and just hauling ass through the desert. So then they all come chasing after it. Half of Bartertown is chasing after it.
Because they want the little man.
Yeah, they want Master.
I think it's funny they never call him Master anymore.
Yeah, well.
Because he doesn't have his blaster. So
Yeah.
he's the little man. But I love how he, like, all of a sudden he gets onto the train thing when they're leaving and he changes his outfit to a suit.
Yeah.
And he has glasses on.
Now he looks like a little professor or something.
Yeah.
So, I mean, but they want him because of his ability with the methane, I guess, right? That's why they want him. Or is it just like, or is it just the fact of like, well, he's escaping, get him, you know, like, but there's a reason, right? Like he knows more than they do about this process, like you said, or something. So I guess they want
Maybe
him.
that's why he was dressed like a professor. Maybe he was a professor when he got there, and then
Yeah, and maybe he just kind of started wallowing in the pig shit and kind of started dressing like they did or something. As soon as he gets out of there, got to put on my Sunday best. But eventually they meet back up with the guy at the beginning of the movie, Jedediah and his son, who had stole Max's transportation, stole all of his shit. They meet back up with him, basically threaten him to fly him out of there. So they kind of all fly out, and Max stays behind to kind of like clear the runway for him and crashes his car into all the other cars, and then that clears the runway enough for them to take off. So Master and Jedediah and a handful of the kids or whatever, they fly off and they take root in Sydney, Australia. Because you know that because you see the Sydney Opera House and all. It's like the ruins of Sydney, right?
Ruins of Sydney after the nuclear whatever.
Yeah, whatever the hell. Yeah, some kind of nuclear fallout war had happened.
Which is kind of, speaking of that too, early on you have that when he first gets to Bartertown. Remember that guy's trying to sell him some water, and he's like, he pulls out his Geiger counter. He's like, you know, it's like, oh man, no,
he's like clean water, and then he does the thing, and then like, no, it's full of radiation. Yeah,
and then he says, oh no, it's more like fallout or something like that.
Yeah.
That's where that you get that post-nuclear, literal post-nuke thing right there, and it kind of reminds, you know, like Fallout, say the game and all that stuff.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
Those types of, I mean, they aren't references to the game. The game came out much later, but you don't always get in the post-apocalyptic, post-nuclear, whatever you want to call it. You don't necessarily always get the nuclear, that aspect of it or whatever. In this movie, I don't even know if in Road Warrior they even mentioned it being a nuclear fallout or anything like that. You know, or what?
Dude, I've seen Mad Max and Road Warrior, but it's been a long time, so I can't remember all the subtle nuances of the plot. You know, about how much all this connects. What do they explain and everything? It's been a long time. But yeah, that's how it ends. Is like that one group manages to go back to the ruins of Sydney and kind of, in a way, I guess, slowly start civilization back, right? Like they're in the city and they got some of the lights turned on. So I guess Master
or at least they're like in the building with maybe a fire or something going, or whatever it is, some sort of lights. They show these ruined husks of buildings, but with lights.
Yeah.
Where the windows would have been.
And they're kind of signaling for Max or whoever other wanderers are out in the desert to come, let's restart civilization, so to speak. So, but I did think it was kind of weak that so Max runs into them, clears the runway, they take off and leave. But then Entity is just kind of like, she walks up to him and is like, you would think she would want to kill him right there. But she's like, it's just me and you now. And then she just gets back in her car and leaves. Like, oh, that was for nothing? All right, fuck it. I guess, whatever. I guess he impressed her enough. So she just moved on, I guess. I don't know.
I guess once they lost Little Man.
True. I guess.
She's got, and she's not as vindictive as some of any of the other villains that have been in the Mad Max movies that would have just killed him outright anyways, just for
That is one thing too that's like kind of odd about her character. It's like it's a bad guy that's kind of likable in some way. Like you don't entirely hate her. She's you can tell she has her own motivations and stuff too. So like
I guess she's not fully on like what's his name in the Fury Road.
I remember the Immortan Joe and
he's not like vengeful like him, so to speak. She's just there. She was thinking she could do better for herself if she could take over the production of all this.
She just wants
to make the fuel, the methane, and all that stuff.
Yeah, I guess
once she realized, I guess she can't do that, then she's like, oh well.
She's more like, well, I want to run this thing for the good of everybody, and I know how to do it, as opposed to I'm going to do this because fuck everybody kind of thing. I don't know.
Yeah.
There you have it, and it ends with Max wandering the desert again. He's out there somewhere. So there you go. Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome. Then of course it ends with the Tina Turner hit. We don't need another hero.
We don't. With a saxophone solo by Tim Capello from.
Yeah, and he's not in it, right?
He's not. Yeah. We talked about that, right? There is a saxophone player in it with Tina Turner right up in her little bungalow thing she's got up there, but it's a Japanese guy.
Yeah.
And we mentioned that off air kind of thing, that the weird sort of tie-in with Japanese culture in some form or other and post-apocalyptic dystopian movies like Blade Runner, for instance.
Yeah.
That which is set in Los Angeles, but there's a lot of
Japanese culture. It is an odd thing,
mixed in with Los Angeles.
And I was totally thinking at first when the dude's sitting there without a shirt on and he's playing the saxophone, I'm like, oh, it's Tim Capella. It's going to be that dude. And no, it's just some Japanese guy when he turns around and I think he's got like white eyes or something like that. Doesn't he? Something weird going on?
Yeah, something weird with his eyes.
Yeah.
But you think like Tim Capello, when you think of him, you think of the Lost Boys. Now that came out after this movie, but even the look he had in the Lost Boys would have fit in with this movie.
Oh yeah, perfect.
With the dangling chains and the muscle shirt or whatever and the everything.
You know what I always think about when I think about like this movie and even what you just said and Lost Boys in some weird way is those weirdo. God, I can't think of the term is, but the weird guys that pop up in Weird Science.
Oh yeah, that was in fact the guy
with the Mohawks,
the Marauders.
The Marauders, yeah.
I'm pretty sure one of those guys was in Road Warrior or something. Maybe the main.
It has to be some connected in some way, yeah. With the Mohawks and the chains and everything, like just the look of them.
Yeah.
Yep. Or even was it Raising Arizona? The bike guy.
Oh God, Randall Tex Cobb. Yeah. Holy shit, that's another Cult Corner movie we need to get on here. Raising Arizona. Holy shit, that's a good movie.
Yeah.
Anyway, there you go. Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome. So, we're, like I said, earlier, we're not necessarily comparing this to, something else we've done recently, like horror movies and stuff like that. We're comparing it to other Cult Corner movies like Scarface and Blackula and whatever other movies we've done on Cult Corner. That's kind of your comparison. So
I always forget that we did Blackula on Cult Corner, and I think of it as a Grindhouse Gutter, but it was before we had Grindhouse Gutter.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I don't remember the timing, but yeah. So with that being said, Donnie, we'll let you go first. What do you think? What's your final rating and your final thoughts and everything?
I actually kind of here's where I'm at with it. We've talked about some of the cool scenes, the train and the I guess the truck / train, whatever, and the car chase scene is awesome. But to me, it's probably the weakest of the Mad Max franchise. And taking all of that into consideration, part of me kind of feels like I might be being a little bit generous with my star rating, but like you said, this is Cult Corner. We're kind of comparing it to other other movies we've done on Cult Corner. We're not really comparing it to you've already said this. I'm going to bend a little bit because I do enjoy the franchise. I'm going to give Beyond Thunderdome 3 stars.
I think I agree with some of what you said there in terms of like, I wouldn't necessarily say this is the weakest, but it is, because it's PG-13, it's a little, like you said earlier, a little bit more watered down, violence-wise, than some of the other movies. So I guess you got to knock back a little bit for that one. But I do think some of the more iconic things from the Mad Max series come from this one, like Thunderdome and the big. Not that there aren't car chases in the first two, but this one's more like holy shit. Like all these dune buggy type crazy things. Like you see that in his other ones, but this one's like crank it up. And then he dials it up 30 years later for Fury Road even more. Obviously it's bigger and more grand, but I think a lot of that comes from this. So I think for the same and different reasons, I'm going to go 3 stars. I really enjoy it. It's not my favorite of the series, but it's, once again, all 5 of these movies. Well, I haven't seen the 5th one, so I guess I'll see one day, but the other 4 I really love. So they're all good. It's just varying degrees of good. So Tiana, what do you say?
I'm going to give it a little bit higher. I really enjoy this one, just the silliness of it and the strangeness of it, and it's got Mel Gibson, so I'm going to give it 3.5.
Smoke, what do you say? Final word.
Yeah, I would like, of the Mel Gibson Mad Max movies, I would say it's the weakest of those for me, but that doesn't mean it's going to be rated way down there, because Road Warrior is one of my favorites from that era. Certainly when you talk about post-apocalyptic movies, it might be, I mean, without really sitting down and looking at a list of them right now, it might be my favorite of the post-apocalyptic movies, Road Warrior. Mad Max, out of these 3, it's Road Warrior, Mad Max, and then Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome. But I think Mad Max is kind of hard to judge because he didn't have the money he needed to do a truly post-apocalyptic movie. That movie isn't even really sci-fi, even though it's lumped in with it. There's nothing really there other than some maybe gadgets or things in there. I mean, he just didn't have the money to make it like he wanted to be with the Road Warrior, post-apocalyptic future or whatever. So it's almost even hard to compare it, really. That's more of an action revenge movie with less sci-fi elements. But still, if we're talking about those movies, the order for me is Road Warrior, then Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome. Now, when it comes to Fury Road and Furiosa, I need to see those again to figure out where Thunderdome fits in. Maybe I'll end up liking Fury Road a little bit better than Thunderdome after I've seen it a few more times or whatever. But for now, I'd put Thunderdome's kind of in the middle for me. I think, like you said, it's got great take away elements from this that have kind of gone on and influenced other things like the Thunderdome, like the dune buggy car chase things you talked about, like that train thing. I mean, he always adds these quirky things into these action sequences. Every one of these movies has a chase sequence, but they get more and more elaborate as they go. Like you get to, like I said, Fury Road, and you got the guy, the heavy metal dude hanging off the thing with the amplifiers and the guitar and everything and the fire and all that stuff.
That one, Fury Road, almost becomes more about the car chase stuff than it is anything else.
Than anything.
This one's more like, it kind of leads up to that, and here's your big climactic scene. That one is more like, that happens 4 or 5 times in that movie. It's all about that.
Chases and everything,
Yeah.
Yeah, this movie, almost, like you said, it feels like 2 movies, and I wonder, I've never looked into it, but I'm wondering if he initially had 2 different movies in mind before this, and he kind of pushed together the Thunderdome Bartertown stuff with the desert stuff and the kids and the Oasis thing and all that, and made, because it definitely does feel like 2 movies once you get beyond Thunderdome. It's a whole other movie for a while there with the kids out in the desert, and then until they bring it back to Bartertown and everything, and then you have that climactic chase or whatever. So, and then also I love that final scene, the Sydney, seeing, you get through that, there's like a dust cloud storm thing, right, and they fly through that, and on the other side of it there's the ruins of Sydney.
Yeah,
I thought that was just very, very good, well done models. It put you in that post-apocalyptic world, right? Because most of the other times you're in a desert, you don't really. I mean, you get these people who are like dressed up like punk rock and all these different things, just quirkiness. So yeah, you get that post-apocalyptic feel from their outfits, but you don't really see these husks of cities and all that stuff until until this one, really. And I like that dialogue at the end was cool too. It kind of fit in with everything that them talking about having to rebuild or whatever, and having to tell the old tales of what the world was like before, and it's a cool little wrap up narration by one of the kids. I can't remember which one, the girl, right?
Yeah.
I can't remember. It's Sydney or Sydney or I think it's Sydney.
Savannah or something. I don't remember.
Or maybe Savannah. That's
Yeah.
it. Yeah, maybe it's Savannah. But yeah, that was a cool way of wrapping it up. And like I said, we kind of forgot about that scene. That's been a while since, I mean, not that long. We've watched it together maybe 10 years ago or so. But I often forget about that scene as being the final scene in the movie of the Sydney scene.
Yeah.
I didn't even think about it this time. They fly through the cloud and like, oh yeah, that's right. It's very cool, climactic sort of wrapping up of it, right? But yeah, I think I'll go with 3 1/4.
So we're all roughly about the same place. That brings it to a consensus of 3.1 out of 5 stars. So we definitely recommend you going to check it out. I think this will be an interesting series to dip in and out of here on Cult Corner. Not that I'm going to make it an official, like, all right, we're doing this franchise now, but I think we should go visit at least the first 2, to compare, and eventually throw in Fury Road and Furiosa, but be an interesting.
And by the way, did y'all see the black and white, the chrome version of Fury Road?
I never did, but I saw that it existed and I wanted to see that and I never did. Yeah. I think I've even got the Blu-ray or the 4K or something that's got it on it, but I just
get it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we didn't get that one, I guess, but I do remember they played that in the theater for a limited run, and we wanted to go see it, but something else was going on. We couldn't make it to it, but that would have been pretty cool, I would think, to see in the theater.
Yeah,
chrome version.
Well, there you go. So, Donnie, did you have any connections for this one? I forgot to ask you beforehand if you'd pulled any.
Yeah, we got a couple.
Okay.
So, surprisingly, or not surprisingly, maybe. No cast connections at all.
Yeah, that's right. This is the first Mel Gibson movie we've done, isn't it?
Yeah.
Not that he did. How much? That begs another question before we continue. How much horror did he ever do? Maybe that one. Signs, maybe.
Yeah, I guess that'd be like sci-fi horror, right?
Yeah.
Maybe.
That's about the only thing that comes to mind. I'm sure there's something else, but yeah, I don't know how much horror the dude's ever done.
Nothing that pops up.
Yeah, other than but yeah, so on the cast side, nobody. On the crew side, there's a couple of scattered special effects crew members for Jaws, when we basically the same some of the same effects crew for Jaws and Armor of God, when we did that with Jackie Chan.
Yeah, that was cannon fodder.
Yeah, cannon fodder. Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Yep.
But then again, it's on that side of the world, right? Like, probably pull some of the same guys that worked on that stuff in Australia or whatever. So yeah.
Yep.
And I forget where they filmed that, but yeah. I think that was one of those traveling type of movies. So yeah, it didn't surprise me.
Yeah. For the Armor of God one?
Yeah. All right, so there you go. That is Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome. Now, next week, it's my choice. So I decided to go with, we had just recently talked about, I think it was because of episode 300 when we finally did the old lament strangulation and wrapped up Hellraiser. We're like, what can we move on and finish up, or what's our next one or whatever? And we were talking about finishing up franchises. So I decided to pull the one that's going to finish at least until the new one comes out later this year, the Evil Dead franchise for us. The only one that we haven't seen until the new one, Army of Darkness. So that's what we're going to watch next week, and then we'll be completely caught up on the Evil Dead franchise until, what's it called, Evil Dead Burn or whatever? I forget the title. The one that's coming out
I think
this year.
that sounds about right.
Something, whatever the new Evil Dead movie is later this year. We'll be caught up until then. So next week, Army of Darkness. We
did do Evil Dead, the remake, huh? Or did we?
Now I'm questioning.
2013.
No, you know what? Did. Yeah, you're right. We didn't do that new one, did we?
No, we did Evil Dead Rise.
Did we?
We did that one. I feel like we did.
I know I watched it and I loved it, but now I'm second guessing whether we did that.
Yeah. Sometimes we think we'll sit here and think about, hey, we did that.
Oh, you know what? We
didn't do those.
No,
we didn't.
Okay, well,
we talked about it, I think.
Okay, then I'm talking it up. I'm talking it up for no reason. Then we got 2 movies to watch, so maybe at some point this year we'll get Evil Dead Rise in before the new Evil Dead. But We're one step
Yeah.
closer, right? Because we've already watched
Closer.
Evil Dead and Evil Dead 2, Dead by Dawn. So now we watch Army of Darkness, and then at some point, we'll double check our notes on Evil Dead Rise, and then we'll get to that. But yeah, there you go. So come back for Army of Darkness next week, and then we got some other cool stuff planned for after that, and we'll let you know what that's going to be. So for Tiana, Professor Smoke, Donnie, I'm Josh. We are the All-American Spook Show, and we'll talk to you next week.
Please replace the speaker on its rack when you're ready to leave. Failure to do so will damage both the speaker and your car. We'll be grateful, and so will the patrons who follow you.